I'd never seen so many men in my life, man. There were thousands of them. And colours. I didn't realise there was that many colours under the sun. Banners and flags and pennants, tents, marquees, huge pavilions, hundreds of men on big armoured war horses. I'm not the cleverest man in the world, but I can count. There were a lot more English than us. I've been fighting for a wee while, as you can see. For my part, I didn't walk 60 miles through these hills to stand here and count Englishmen. I'm not here to count them. I'm here to kill them. Look at it this way, boys. The more Englishmen there are, the more you'll get to kill. I say we count them after the battle. It's up to you, boys. You can die on your feet or live on your knees. That's up to you. Well, they sent negotiators to talk to Wallace. I mean the English. Don't believe for a second they're going to be defeated. But why lose any men at all when you can negotiate? They offered them terms. They offered young Wallace land and money and titles. William Wallace could have walked away for this. A rich man, nobody would have thought the worst of him. This is the way rich men are made, isn't it? But William Wallace refused. And that's why men fight for him. Because he doesn't compromise. You can't buy him. He has a purpose. Go back to your commanders and tell them I'm not here for land. I'm not here to talk. I am here to defend my country. Let them come when they like. I get them killed. 2 days later. Alright, don't overegg your part. 2 days later, September the 11th, we had to fight. Down there's a big bend in the river and across the middle, a narrow wooden bridge. It is a narrow wooden bridge for a purpose, so that lots of men cannot cross at the same time. The English are on the other side and are the most powerful army in Europe. They have never been defeated in 10 years of battle. They are afraid of nothing, far less us. When they started making mistakes, they were told. Right? The horses across the bridge was dangerous because it was a marshland on our side. Difficult for horses if you don't know the paths. They were told quite clearly to take their heavy horse, of which they had more than 350, 4 miles down the River Forth to Kildine, where they might cross at the shallow ford. This battle was over before it began. But they didn't do it. Why not? Let me tell you why not. Because the second in command of the English army was a glory hunting idiot. Hugo de Cressingham. Sir Hugo. He's a taxman, eh? Everybody loves him. He's been here for about a year. He's advisor to Surrey, so Surrey Elizabeth does not waste time and money on this rabble. Give me the horses, I will take them across that bridge. And when that rabble of Scottish peasants see the might of Royal England, they'll run! That was the last speech he ever made, brother. They started bringing their horses across the narrow bridge, but as they were told, you can only get 2 horses across at a time. You can watch what they're doing. Horses start to struggle in the muck and mud, but they keep driving them on with this suits us. Fine. Walsh's plan is simple. Let the horses across. They're struggling. Then we'll attack them. We'll hold them with their backs to the river. We'll cut off the retreat to the bridge. They're useless. The rest of us will take the bridge. It's a narrow bridge. We know how to hold it. Let's take the bridge. So we charged in towards Stirling Bridge. Why, we hit it like a storm, brother. With battle axe and sword. William Wallace out in the front. He sees the taxman, Hugo de Cressingham, and he kills him with 1 blow. And then we're all up to our knees now. Fucking blood. Iron blood. You have to stay on your feet, boys. Because if you don't stay on your feet, you might not get up again. Well, I stayed on my feet fine. Then all of a sudden, the English, stunned by the force and ferocity of our attack, were driven back towards the river. Where are they going to go? It's only a wee narrow bridge. Hundreds of men were drowned that day, flung into the river to be dragged to the bottom under the weight of their own armour. Then all of a sudden the bridge gave way, and the English on the far side couldn't cross. and the English on our side. Let's count them now. The Knights of Royal England. Nearly 200 of them. 5,000 infantrymen died that day. Brave men. The rest of them, when they saw this, ran, but they'll not get far. We won the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Outnumbered, certainly. Outclassed. Outfought? I don't think so. Because they'll never learn. A man fighting for his own ground will fight a lot harder than a man trying to take it away from him. Sir Andrew Murray lay dying of his wounds when William Wallace was alive. What would they do? The nobles of Scotland who swore allegiance to Edward of England suddenly swear allegiance to him. A year ago nobody knew who he was. Now he's the Guardian of Scotland. Sir William Wallace of Elderslie. If they think they've drawn William Wallace in, they're very much mistaken. Sir William! Ah, Sir William! We must be more politic. We must negotiate. Who with? Edward of England? I don't think so. I don't remember Edward of England negotiating with you when he invaded this country. So you forgive me if I don't negotiate with him when I invade his. We will take the north of England, re-establish and strengthen our border, and then we'll teach the people of the north of England that it is not in their best interests to support invading armies from the south. And so we attacked the north of England and put it to fire and sword. That's what they did to us. No, that doesn't make it right. But this is not about right, is it? This is about war. We can't stay in England, we'll need to come home and hope they'll leave us alone. Ah! That's not going to happen. Edward of England's not going to let this go unanswered. They will not fight for Wallace. There's too much to lose, man. William Wallace, he'll fight. Because that's what William Wallace does best. If there's any reassurance to you, my friends, so will I. When Edward of England comes back across the border, I'll be ready for him. You have my word on that. His tactic was very simple, to merely retreat before them, drawing them further away from their supplies, further into the ground, and the Scottish army knew they cut the supplies behind them and they burned the supplies in front of them. So they got to Falkirk, which is about 18 miles to the south of here. The English army were a bit disarray, but they were still outnumbering the Scots by a considerable 3 to 1. The Scots decided to fight, and it's my contention that they could have won that battle. I believe that. But the nobles of Scotland withdrew their support, especially horsemen. If you don't have horses, you cannot defend yourself against archers. It's impossible. And these men were the best archers in Europe. Wallace's army was easily defeated and William Wallace escaped. He remained alive for 7 years. He went to see the Pope in Avignon. He wasn't in Rome, he was being held hostage in Avignon by Philip IV of France at that time. He would give him no assistance. He went to John Balliol, the king in exile. No, Eric II of Norway wouldn't help him. So he came back and continued to fight as best he could. He was betrayed in 1305 by a man whom he thought to be his close friend. It's almost the case with that. Sometimes your close friends to know all about you, your confidence. Anyway, he was taken to London, found guilty of treason. He was executed on the 23rd of August 1305 outside St Bartholomew's Church in West Smithfield in London, which is commonly known now as a very famous hospital. St Bart's is the abbreviation. He was hung, drawn, quartered and beheaded. His head was stuck in a spike on London Bridge looking north. The remainder of his body was sent to Perth, Stirling, Newcastle, Berwick-upon-Tweed to be displayed as a traitor. That was in 1305, the foundation stone of this magnificent building, which celebrates its 150th birthday on Friday, Bannock Day, was laid in 1861, 556 years after he died, more than half a millennium. So I'm not too worried about taking up 15 minutes. explain why this man has always been held in the psyche of this nation as a national hero. I hope that was, sorry, the wind is actually quite mild through that.
Yeah.
I hope that was informative, somewhat amusing, and not too long-winded. That's the main thing. If you have any questions, I do not flatter myself to be an expert. I do think I know a broad history of my country. If you wish to take any photographs, take as many as you like. If you're videoing though, it's £35 plus VAT.